Oh, this poor TW. Let's see if we can bring her back.
This is pretty much the worst video ever made.
Napoleon, like anyone can even know that.
Hello my friends, and welcome to Tom's Tinkering and Adventures. Today we're going to be working on a Yamaha TW200. I've never actually owned one of these bikes. I've ridden one a couple times, and I gotta say, not the biggest fan of them, but I guess I sort of get it. They're a small, kind of low to the ground bikes. They're easy to get, most people on them. It's not intimidating, and I mean, it's not going to win any races. The suspension isn't great, but they'll go most places. They're not light for the size, but they're not terribly heavy, and they're easy to move around, so people can put them on the back of their motorhome and that sort of thing. Let's take a quick look at this one. This is an older one. It's got the drum front brake. They switched to disc at some point. I don't even really know what year this thing is. It's a 98. There you go. I bought it with some issues, and I don't think that you would find a cheaper one around. I'm not going to say what I paid for it, but these things seem to bring a pretty good price, and I didn't pay that much for it. So this one has 3,295 miles. All this appears to be in okay shape. Don't care for the KTM orange handguards, but I think I have some white ones in my stash of parts. Tires look okay. Broken turn signal, not a big deal. Stock exhaust, I like to see that. I don't see any obvious like oil leaks or issues like that. And it does crank over. Well, oh, there we go. But it doesn't start. It's been sitting, so you know what we're going to do if you've been watching my channel ever. We're going to go into it and pull that carburetor off and get that going. And in the meantime, we'll do a few other things. So let me get this thing set up and we will get started. So the seat was already off when I got the bike, but just a couple bolts underneath, I believe. One bolt for the tank. Disconnect the fuel line. If you have emission system still on it, there's this. We'll probably eliminate that stuff later. I'm not concerned about it right now, but we'll probably get rid of that stuff later. And now we just need to disconnect our throttle cables with some 10mm wrenches here. Actually, this one's already loose. Look at that. Didn't even touch it with a wrench. And the carburetor looks like it's been removed before too. It's kind of loose right there. See that? So who knows? Might have been messed with before, but we'll get it out and take a look at it. Yeah, I didn't use any tools to get this carburetor out of the bike, so obviously someone's been messing with it before. But this was kind of nice to see. We had some Allen head bolts in the float and bowl, which means that at least someone cared a little bit about this bike. But the fuel that's been coming out of it's been kind of stinky. There we go. And who knows how well that's going to show up on the camera there, but we got some nice green action there. So all this is going to get disassembled and cleaned up, and I think this thing will probably fire up pretty easily once we get this cleaned up. There's our pilot jet, completely clogged and all green. On the carburetor, it's right down into that little area, so we need to remove it. I removed the float and the float needle, the main jet and the emulsion tube. So we're going to clean all these items. We'll clean the carburetor, we'll clean the bowl, and put her back together. Carburetor's been cleaned up with some carburetor cleaner. I don't know if we're going to be able to see through that or not, but if you hold it up to the sunlight, you can see through that. There you go. Perfect. That's our pilot jet. If that ain't clear, the bike's not going to idle. So we'll drop that back in here. Tighten that down. Put the bowl on. Put this back on the bike, and let's see if she starts up. While I was working on the carburetor, I drained the old fuel out of the tank. It didn't smell too bad, but we did that. Hooked up the battery charger. I took the air filter off of it. It looks like it's in pretty good shape. That's it right here. And let's see. Okay, got the fuel tank on now. And I have a new piece of fuel line on it. Fuel cap is off, of course. Let's see what happens. Hey, 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 hey! That's all right. Look at that. We have a headlight. We have turn signals. I didn't even check any of this stuff. Got a horn, low beam, high beam. Don't have a high beam indicator. Of course, we don't have a turn signal on that side, but that one's flashing. That one's flashing. This one's not flashing because we're missing one. Let's see. Yeah, we have a brake light. Everything works except for this high beam indicator. We'll fix that. This is all right. Well, I was pretty confident that thing was going to run, and of course she does now. I took it up and down the driveway a couple times, and got a few things I want to work on. I'm going to eliminate this kickstand safety switch. That thing's been sticking. I noticed that the clutch safety switch is broken out of here, so I'm just going to follow that in here and unplug that. We'll change out these hand guards. I think I have some white ones. But first off, I'm going to give it a bath, get it cleaned up, make it look a little prettier. Look at how tiny these foot pegs are. Those will get replaced at some point, but yeah, let's give it a quick cleanup and we'll bring her back in the garage. In all the junk I acquire over the years, someone gave me this brake lever for a KLX 125, and I guess I looked it up a long time ago and I even wrote TW200 on it. So we replaced that. Put these on. Installed these a little bit bigger foot pegs. Oh, I fixed that. There we go. Oh, also in my stash of stuff, I found a similar looking turn signal. It's got a shorter stock, but that'll work for now. And there we go. That's flashing. Remove that wire here. Followed it down into this right here, and I spliced it together. This has already been unplugged. I guess that must be this right here. Actually, I should look at that. Oh, I got an owie too. Look at that. But yeah, I should look at this and make sure that it is properly spliced. Otherwise, that could be a problem. But I removed that. There's this other foot peg. Cleaned the bike up quite a bit, and it looks pretty decent. Not too bad. We're missing side panel right here, and we got a fairly decent sized dent right there. I'm not the best with dent removal, but maybe I'll figure something out for that. But other than that, it's complete, and everything works on this bike, and it runs okay. I won't say that it runs amazing. Seems like it's kind of maybe a little cold-blooded, jetted a little bit lean. I don't know exactly what, but we can look into that, figure it out. And I rode it out around the block, and it feels maybe like the clutch is slipping a little bit. I'm going to change oil on it and adjust the valves on the next video, and we'll see if that does anything for that. This is my last beer in the fridge, so you know it's a good one after getting done on this Yamaha. Pabst Blue Ribbon, I'm talking to you. Reach out to me on my YouTube channel. I think would be good partners. And if anyone else has any connections with PBR, send them my way. Okay, If you're liking my content, give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. And if you are not already a subscriber, please consider doing so. Thank you very much for watching. Get out there and find your adventure. Adios.